tangled with this wig, which is possibly some sort of metaphor for my life. But hello, one person that came and then immediately went. It's me back again for another week. It's always a week, and sometimes it's not a week, but usually it's a week. And I can't see what I'm doing with the guitar, because I'm looking in the mirror image to see what I'm doing with the strumming and the frets, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to try another one. Ooh, I'm going to try a slightly more complicated. I'm not very good at this, but I'm going to keep going. Hello, one person, how are you? It's another week, we're all another week older, unless you're sort of bedroom buttoning it. If you are, then very well done. I don't know what happens in that film because I haven't seen it, but I know that Brad Pitt is wearing very old makeup and then he gets younger as the film goes on. That's all I know about Benjamin Button, so I can't really sing a very good song about it. Hello everybody, how are you going? Even though there's nobody here yet, I'm gonna just keep strumming this guitar, strumming as if I knew what I was doing, but nobody knows. Incredibly, I definitely don't know what I'm doing. Do you know what you're doing? Does anybody? And I'm gonna keep strumming this guitar. And I sort of know where it's going, even though I'm not really good at remembering where the chord's going. Hello Terry, how are you? This is a new video. Pretty much the same as always. How are you, Terry? You're not showing up in the little thing that tells me that people are here. Have you gone away? I wouldn't blame you. There's other people probably that aren't showing up in the video either. It is a terrible video, just like all the others. My mum said I should do more vegetable videos, but I haven't got the time and I haven't got the energy, and I really don't have the wherewithal at all anymore to do anything but this. This is it. This is my life now. Strumming my guitar in a terribly monotone way. Not very good. Not very bad. Not even mediocre. It just is. It's just quite sad. But I keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. I'm eating apple crumble with custard, and that's what you're doing. I'm glad apple crumble sounds nice. Is the apple crumble nice, Terry? It sounds like it's very nice, Terry. Are you really merry, Terry? Eating the apple crumble. What rhymes with crumble? Mumble, mumble. Red hot top it is, isn't it? Woo! It's a red hot top that I'm wearing. Like a red hot top of a newspaper, which apparently are all going under now. All the newspapers are going bust. I've got a bust. But I'm not going to show it you, because all the newspapers are doing that for you. They're showing you everything they've got, and they're failing miserably, just like me, really. So that's pretty much all that's going on this week. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Thank you very much, gorgeous Terry. Very much nice. Very appreciative. Can I do any more chords? Do I think... Are you talking about Jimmy Carr? I know where you're going with that. Jimmy Carr, Jimmy Carr. I've had several experiences with Jimmy Carr. Jimmy Carr, Jimmy Carr, Jimmy Carr ruined my career, so I don't care if Jimmy Carr's career's ruined. My career was over before it began. The very first gig I was auditioning for Jimmy Carr. I was waiting for a day. I was really, really hopeful. I had not done any gigs before. I went to Jimmy Carr to go, hello, can I support you in an act that you are auditioning for? He said, hey people, pretend that this is real. Pretend that this is real. Everyone has to line up and stay in this room for the whole day. And first of all, you've got 5 minutes material by the time we get to you, because we've got hundreds of people here, even though they don't realise it's not for real. It's for Jimmy Carr's Comedy Idol. That wasn't really a thing. He had everyone line up. There was a man dressed as a tin of baked beans. There was a man dressed as a banana. And there was me at the start of my career, and several people who I met later who were also there, like Chickaway Billy, he was there, but I didn't know him at the time. And Susie Bennett was there, but I didn't know her at the time. And lots of other people were there, though I didn't know them at the time, because I'm starting out. It was the first day there. And a week before, I just moved, and I got locked in my house by the people downstairs. So I was a really, really big wreck by then. It was my first gig ever, and I went there. And by the time I auditioned for Jimmy Carr, I'd been there the whole day. And it was a Sunday, and I needed to get to work the next day. So I was tired, and it was my only time off. And I was stressed because I'd been locked in my flat and I couldn't get out. And everything had gone wrong that week. And by the time I got to Jimmy Carr, I did 2 minutes of material. And the shoe joke that I did made him laugh like a drain. And you've heard him laugh. Well, he didn't laugh like that. He didn't laugh like that at all. But I was still alarmed that he laughed at all at my jokes that I wasn't really sure about. And then I went off on one, and I did some material which was basically true and basically my life. And he said, you sounded like you were crazy, and you're not crazy, are you? And I said, probably not. And he said, oh, you should do more material about your life. And I was thinking, I am doing material about my life, because that is my life. And then he said, I like the shoe material. And I went, thank you very much, Jimmy Carr. And I felt sort of seen by Jimmy Carr. And then he said, go away now. What you need to do is do about 10 gigs, and then you'll be ready. And I'm like, thank you, Jimmy Carr. That's really good advice. But it wasn't very good advice, really. 10 gigs, and then I'll be ready. What on earth advice is that? That makes no sense. 10 gigs is nothing at all. But I believed him. And I went away and thought no more about it, and I did not get to be Jimmy Carr's Comedy Idol at all. But I remember thinking at the time, he'd done a gig. No, he'd done a joke. Yeah, he'd done a joke about a week before that was pretty much the same as a Jim Davidson joke, and everyone was calling on him. And I said, while we were waiting in the line, if you've got material that sounds a bit like Jim Davidson, then you're probably not doing very well. And I think they called it on camera, and maybe that's something to do with the fact that I didn't get through to the next section, but probably not, because I'd only done one gig. Anyway, I did not get through. And several months later, my mum heard him on the radio saying he'd set this thing up, and it was all a joke, and some stupid delusional people came and thought that it was true. And he laughed, and he laughed, and he laughed, and he laughed with his stupid laugh. And that was my Jimmy Carr story, so I don't care if he doesn't do very well. It was a terrible joke that he did at the time. It was a terrible joke that he did. I've heard it's all people go, oh, it was in context. Oh, yes, very well. He did it in context. He said, here's a list of horrible jokes that nobody should do. And then he did it anyway. So, yeah. You see, lots of love for Jim. Hoo. Boris, they were probably talking. Yeah, I did. Yeah, so you were all talking about Boris Johnson, not Jimmy Carr, but pretty much everybody. It's very difficult to tell these days who you're talking about because there's so many people in terrible trouble. So, not Jimmy Carr. Do you think Jimmy Carr's career is over. That's not who you were talking about. You were talking about Boris Johnson. Well, in fact, I don't think Boris Johnson's career over, because Boris Johnson is titanium, and Boris Johnson pretty much gets away with anything, and he's got absolutely no scruples and absolutely no shame, and Boris Johnson is the same, and Boris Johnson is absolutely never going anywhere, because Boris Johnson doesn't give a thing. That starts with sh and ends with t. He doesn't give a thing about anybody except for himself, and I don't think he even cares about his wife or his children. I'm pretty sure he only cares about himself. So he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. No, so I don't think Boris Johnson is the end of his career, because he has got no shame. But I don't think it's the end of Jimmy Carr's career either, because Jimmy Carr is also fairly... He gets away with anything, doesn't he? Yes, so I did audition for Jimmy Carr. It was the first thing I ever did. I had done a comedy course, so I had sort of technically done a gig, which was the sort of the showcase gig. But a week later, and I remember my the person that ran, Keith, that ran the comedy school showcase thing, phoned me up to see how I was doing. And I remember I'd gone on a writing course at the time in I can't remember where it was. There's a bit by near Buckingham Palace. There's a place. I can't remember what it's called. Probably not there anymore. Anyway, I'd gone on a writing course, and he was phoning me up, and I was like, oh yes, I've entered Jimmy Carr's Comedy Idol, and I remember him saying, that's not for you. And I thought, what do you mean that's not for me? Do you think I'm not good enough? But he was probably right. That was not for me. That was not for anybody, because it was all a big setup that he didn't really want anybody to win. I did meet the person. I should audition for Doctor Who. I would make a good Doctor Who. Of course I would. Of course I would. I remember a while ago that Russell T Davies said that everybody wants to audition for Doctor Who, but he only wants professional actors and people that were equity members. It's like, well, that's me then. Just about. I am an equity member, and I have been paid for my professional work. Believe it or not, it is the truth. Not for a while, certainly not in the last 2 years, where nobody's got paid for it. Well, I'm sure some very lucky people have had a career, but not me. I'm stuck doing something that's probably I'm no good at, and I'm on the edge of going somewhere else. I probably do need to make more of an effort with my career, if career it be. So maybe being in Doctor Who is the move I should make. I'll audition for Doctor Who, and I'll be Doctor Who. Yes, of course. Miracles do happen, not very often. Well, thank you very much for saying so. I think probably it's not going to happen. That's just my dad was like, I said something earlier. He's like, oh, don't say that. As if saying it makes it so. Saying something makes the opposite. You say something and then you go, oh, I'm feeling really good. And then, lightning strikes. I don't think that's how it happens. I don't think saying something's happening, that everything's going well, and that it's going to curse you to doom. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think anything to... I don't believe in positive thinking or negative thinking. I don't believe in toxic positivity. Toxic positivity. Yes. Toxic positivity is when you are so don't say anything negative that you make everyone on edge. Everyone has to be cheerful, and yes, everything's great. Everything's fine. It's not fine. BBC Two Opportunity. I don't know. I was on BBC Three back in the day. Of course, back in the day. It's a long time ago. Time passes very, very quickly. 14 years. Almost to the day where I was locked in a box in Bristol, Millennium Square. Those were the days. It was freezing. Absolutely freezing. It's February. It was this time of year. It was so freezing, and we just had to really make up a TV show for like 6 hours in a freezing cold box in February, and with a lot of other YouTube people, and then get terrible stick online and be be set up as the enemy of every other talented act that was there. Everyone else was talented, but we were talentless. That was pretty much the narrative. It's like, well, these undeserving YouTubers. It's like, thank you. I don't think we were undeserving. We were all very talented in our own different ways, and we pulled together. And one of the production people actually told us that we were the only people that made the most of the format, and yet we were berated even when we won it. We got to things saying, well, it's who you know, not what you know. It's like, what are you saying? Just because people appreciated what we were doing and it was based on a public vote, and people were watching us, and that means that we were undeserving. Okay. The whole point was that you were supposed to publicize it to people that you know so that they would watch it and get a fan base. And we did that and were told that we were rubbish and that we did not deserve anything. But that's fine. We used the money to set up the gatherings. So the gatherings that you still get today were set up by us, by winning the money, and yet we get no credit for those. I don't even know they exist anymore. The whole sort of Summer in the City ones. They wouldn't have even been existing if we hadn't set it up. But no credit given to the people. No credit, because basically it all went a little bit pear-shaped, and some people argued about what was going to be the shape of it, and then we got no credit. Podcast is the new what? Yes. Oh well, I think I got my Wikipedia was salted by people bickering over it, and they wouldn't believe that I actually had a fan base or any sort of public figurehood. So no, even though that was in existence for several years, I don't think I'm ever, because every time somebody tried to restore it, there was the people that are the editors of Wikipedia, like the people that set themselves up as the gatekeepers. There's a lot of people that really took against me and decided to, every time I put anything, they would argue against it. And so in the end, I was struck from the register, never to be seen again. So I cannot, no matter how famous I get, it could happen, I'll never again have a Wikipedia page. So to Wikipedia. They are my enemies. I am not Wikipedia's friend, because the people that are in charge of the gatekeeping, even though it's supposed to be, if a lot of people say this is a public figure and you can back it up with references, you're supposed to be able to have a Wikipedia page on anything. But that's not how it works. Not how it works at all. Bitterness. Yes, I'm here. I'm still here. I exist. And I think some people argued that I exist and that I am a person and that I exist in when there was the whole discussion about whether they should delete me. And that turned against me, because there was a lot of vehemence going on, and there was absolutely no argument about me existing, but they didn't think that my existing was worthwhile or anything to talk about or write about. So, and it was at the time when more things were happening that and I think it's about that time that I thought, what's the point in doing anything, because I'll never ever be notable enough for Wikipedia. Can't be bothered anymore. And about that time I was like, can't be bothered, not doing anything more, because it's not going to be on Wikipedia anyway. And if a tree falls in the forest, does anyone, if there's nobody there to see it, then does it really fall? It makes no sound. It does make a sound. I don't know, something about bears in the woods and stuff like that. Oh, thank you. You learned the truth about vegetables, Scott. Oh, that's completely 100% true facts about vegetables. Yes, thank you very much, Scott. They were genuine vegetables, and that was their real names. I think that's where truth and me parted, really, with them. But they're I do like my vegetable videos. It's not necessarily my sense of humour is the weird thing. It's like quite low-key. Anyway, low-key. I'm low-key. Yeah. Anyway. Yes, okra. The vegetable or the video on. Yeah. That was the one that got notoriety for me, and also got loads of people going, how dare you say these things about okra. You are Stereotyping. I'm like, what are you talking about? I like okra. It's my favourite vegetable. I've got a big bag of it in my freezer. What are you talking about? I'm not stereotyping anybody because it's a vegetable. What? Oh. Anyway, so it's so easy to get cancelled, I found very easily that if you do anything about anything, then somebody's going to take some offence that you didn't mean and then cancel you. Although, in Jimmy Carr's case, I think he meant to cause offence, and he did. Whereas I never did try to cause offence. It's like there was episode of UK RuPaul's Drag Race UK versus the World, where a person was sort of like dressed as like a giant chess piece and had a white band over their face and sort of black makeup on it. Underneath the white band as the chess piece, the black and white sort of checkerboard sort of, and there were a lot of people on the internet saying, oh, that's offensive, whereas it was part of the costume, but you should think about it. But it did offend people, even though the intent was not to offend, whereas in Jimmy Carr's case, the intent was to offend. In Boris Johnson's case, I don't even know what his intent is. I don't think his intent is to be king of the world. In my case, I never try to offend, but if I do, which I often do, it's because I blundered into it like an idiot fool. That's basically me. Idiot as well. If you say idiot, then people go, whoa, that's offensive. And you're like, oh, sorry. So I should not use that word because that is ableist language. And that is me, who's I've just admitted that I have stumbled into offence, and I apologise for ableist language because that was me and that was definitely my fault. Which I didn't mean to do. So yes, too easy to get cancelled accidentally by saying stupid things. Yeah, so everyone should be careful not to say stupid things and do stupid stuff, but it's really hard not to do stupid stuff and say stupid things because I think, and because people say ridiculous things just as soon as your mouth is open, ridiculous things pour out, I find. As a rule, that's just human nature. Ugh. So yes, basically I've cancelled myself. I have been cancelled. I'm aware of cancellation. Wikipedia cancelled me, so I don't even know why I'm worried about being cancelled because I got cancelled years ago through no fault of my own. I think Wikipedia thought that it was actually me that was arguing that I was a real person. I just sort of went into the talk page to have a look to see what it was because I was like, oh no, they're going to delete my page. I think I mentioned it to somebody. They're going to delete my page. I am sad. And then people came in and basically everyone thought that it was me that was arguing in a horrible, spiteful way that I was a real... It's like, I kept out of it. Basically, I'm like, I know you're not supposed to edit your own Wikipedia page, so I'm leaving it. And then I went to look and it was like, nah, it was you all along. It was like, well, you could just check my ISP to see that it's not me, because clearly these people are, most of the people weren't actually British that were arguing. So, and I am. But no, it was, no, you're faking it and you're just pretending to be all these people. It's like, yes, of course, there's like all these people that are me, that are arguing for me. Of course. Genuinely, now it sounds like I'm like, you're protesting too much. It must have all been you. It genuinely wasn't. But I was sad after that, and then sort of paid attention to the fact that Wikipedia had cancelled me forever. So I'm never getting back there. So I was cancelled well before the Trumps and the Jimmy Carrs and the Marjorie Taylor Greens or whatever them's are. Whereas they did horrible things and deserved to be cancelled, and I don't think I did deserve to be cancelled, but yet cancelled I was. And here I am in this void, this blending in with the background. My hair is the same colour as the background, sort of weird brown hair, the same colour. See, so I'm just a face in a void. Anyway. La. Yeah, now I've worked myself up for no reason. So yeah, anyway, it's like the gay Crew's got kid faces. Oh, yeah. Well, that's it, yeah. You can get cancelled for the stupidest reasons. And although I'm sort of pro getting rid of people that say mean things to other people, not getting rid of them, just stopping them saying horrible things that are offensive, I am also sad when it happens to me, which is because I'm a selfish person. Obviously, if I get cancelled, that's bad. If anyone else gets cancelled, well, that's probably their fault. So that's a hypocritical person, a hypocrisy, the hypocrisy of the person. Anyway, so yeah, why am I such a hypocrite? I don't know. It's just one of those things. My hair's gone all flat now. You're 5 people here now, and only 2 of you like me. That's fair enough. That's probably as good as it gets for me. Especially when I can't play guitar anymore. But I never could play guitar. And I gotta go up the frets, up the frets, up the frets, up the frets, down and down, and don't fret about it. 280? You can count as 2 people because you're 280. I'm not sure what that means, but thank you very much. 280? I'm not sure what that means, Scott, but maybe it's a cultural difference. Is it an American thing? Anyway, pounds. You'll have 280 pounds. So, 280 pounds. So we measure weight in stones and kilograms sometimes. Kilograms or stones. We're supposed to have gone metric years ago, but we still do pounds and stones, but we do like 14 stone and... Is there 14 pounds in a stone? I don't know, because this is something I found out as well. The imperial measurements in Britain that are pounds and ounces are not the same as the ones in America. Ounces are different, and I think maybe stones, I don't know whether you get stones, 14 pounds is a stone. I don't know. So it's all very, I don't think in stones. Kilos. See, I think I'm quite a lot of kilos. I think I know what I am in kilos. And I know what I am in stone. And I'm not going to tell you, but it's pretty heavy. Pretty heavy. Baby, I'm just centre of gravity. That was one of my jokes about Kelly Brook that I used to do. I don't think I did it to Jimmy Carr, but I did it quite soon afterwards. Kelly Brook, her measurements were the same as me for ages and ages. Ages and ages. She had the same measurements, which were 38, 24, 36, I believe, and yet she was saying that she was about 8 stone 7, and I was considerably more than that by about 2 stone more. I'm still singing in a singy voice. Anyway, this is not the way that my material went, but she was 2 stone heavier than me. No, I was 2 stone heavier than her. Rather, anyway, this is why I don't do stand-up anymore. I can't even remember my own material. But, so I'm 2 stone heavier than Kelly Brook was at the time. Although, present day Kelly Brook, I'm clearly not as weighty as her. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But she probably, her published weight is going to be a lot less. But that's beside the point. Old style Kelly Brook that had the same measurements as me, when I had those measurements, which I do not anymore. Not quite. I think I'm a little bit wider around the middle bit. But my whole conclusion on that was that one of us, and it might be me, it might be Kelly Brook, one of us was an alien. Or lying, probably. Yeah. How tall? Same height as Kelly Brook. I'm the same height as Kelly Brook, and was the same measurement as Kelly Brook, and yet, exactly the same bust measurement. I think it was, actually it was 34E, or 34G. 34G, so not 38, 34G. And now I think I am a 34H. So that's quite big. So maybe that's where all my measurements were at the time and still are. So anyway, just by the by, I can't remember what the actual joke was, but it did involve Kelly Brook and measurements. I can't remember any of my material. It's so long since I did. So long. so long. I can't even remember the shoe material that I did to Jimmy Carr, but I think it was about not really liking shoes, and I'm not. And women love shoes and I didn't, and I can't remember what the joke was, but that is probably on YouTube. I'm pretty sure that it was in my first stand-up gig, which is on YouTube, which was the comedy school gig. So that material is the material I did in my showcase. The material I did for Jimmy Carr was a sort of garbled version of that was also involved with my being locked in and trying to escape from my house material in 2 minutes, so I tried to fit it in and it was a garbled mess. But, you know, Jimmy Carr laughed. What can I say? And then I went to a showcase where somebody had been, you know, showcase from a different comedy school. I think it was the Amuse Moose a while later. And I saw somebody do the same setup to my joke, but a different punchline. And I said, are you a Jimmy Carr fan? Did you see Jimmy Carr's Comedy Idol? And they went, yes, I did. And I thought, did Jimmy Carr use the setup of my joke and then cut away to something else? Did I get into the video? Because I know that some people were in the video, but I've never watched his video because I felt so bad. Because, as I said, my mum heard him on the radio a while later saying it was all a joke and everyone that auditioned was delusional. And I sort of took against him at that point. And another time I saw him in real life, he was very, very thin with a big head in Edinburgh. And it was a bit after that, and I was like, oh, Jimmy Carr looks like a puppet. That's a terrible thing to say. You shouldn't make cheek cracks about people's appearances, but he did look like a puppet. I cannot lie, he looked like a puppet to me. But he was, in fact, Jimmy Carr. Anyway, that's enough dissing other people and garbling my material. Back in the day, the same as always. So I will see you next week. And that was nearly a Jimmy Carr laugh. Not quite. I'll see you next week. And thank you for joining me, all 6 of you. And thank you for the 3 likes, all 3 of you that like me. And thank you anyway, even if you didn't, that's fine. You still stuck it out. That's good. That's all I can hope for. So, next week, I don't know, I've got a couple of days off after it. Who knows? I might make a video the week after. Who knows? Probably not, but because I can't be bothered. But I might. Who knows? All right then. Thank you, 7 people. I'm just going 7th person, but the 7th guest. That was a whole style video game. That was a fun video game. Lots of puzzles. So I will see you now next week. Bye bye. See ya. Thank you. Bye.